Hello everyone, I am Nathan Blake, and welcome to Missing. This is a short visual novel horror sort of game. It says it has 5 endings, so let's just hop into it. It says that there's a yandere in it and stuff, so we'll see. Heh. What are you laughing at? I added your Polaroid to my notebook. I don't look good in that photo, though. Nah, look, it's like you're preserved here in my notes forever. Isn't that cool? I guess. That's a nice thought, right? I hope we can look back on this summer in the years to come and reminisce over the good old days. I hope we stay friends forever. Your friend has been missing for over a week now. The local police weren't getting anywhere with their research. It's a small town, and missing people cases like this are rare and far between. You guessed that the lack of progress made in their investigations were due to the fact that they were ill-equipped to handle something like this. Or maybe they were just incompetent. We're in on it! Are you in on it, police? This is all your fault. So you decided to take matters into your own hands. The artwork's pretty good on this so far. You've had your suspicions. In fact, you've been suspicious of him for a while. It wasn't based on anything concrete. He's well liked in the community and seems to be a normal guy. It's just an uncomfortable gut feeling. Wow, my spatial sound on my headphones is really good because that really freaked me out. I really thought there were birds behind me. And so you find yourself standing outside a small house on the outskirts of the town. You look down onto your notebook. Oh, I love it. Pecunia's plan, police badge, gotta Google it, detecting, get info. The plan was to enter his home under the guise of an official investigation. You'd have to impersonate a detective, which might get you in trouble if discovered, but if all goes well, you'd be able to collect the evidence you need to find out what happened to your friend. Or maybe you were wrong. Maybe he's innocent, and you're just blowing things out of proportion, all because of a gut feeling. You look back at the house. It's a simple one-story building, and it looks quite homely. There are plants and other trinkets decorating the patio, and the lawn is neatly kept. You feel a small pang of guilt for intruding on such a peaceful-looking home, but that feeling slowly morphs into a sensation of fear. There's a chill running down your spine as you approach the front door. You stand outside, shifting from one foot to the other. This is it. Should you continue? It's not too late to back out now. Oh yeah, let's go. You're nervous, yes, but you're also determined to seek out any clues that may help you find your friend. You quickly smoothed out the creases in your dress, making yourself look presentable. With renewed resolve, you knock on the door. Knock, knock! Here's a small shuffling noise coming from within. One moment. You hear footsteps approaching. The door creaks open, and a friendly face steps in front of you to greet you. You've seen him around town a few times, but a strikingly unusual appearance. Always seems to surprise you. Can I help you? His sudden question knocks you out of your stupor. Yes. You pull out a fake badge with a fake identity from your fake pocket. I don't even know how I got a fake pocket. I mean, it's a regular pocket, I'm sorry. I'm Detective Quinn with the Border Springs Police Department. You're Crow, correct? Crow glances at your hastily made badge. For a moment you're worried he's caught on to you, but he gives you an affirmative smile. That's me. I'm here to ask you a few questions in pertinence to an ongoing missing persons investigation. Do you mind if I come in? Perfect. Just as you rehearsed. He eyes you for a moment. A missing persons investigation? You nod, your palms beginning to feel sweaty from all the nerves. He stares at you thoughtfully for a moment. Then he smiles again. Sure thing, Detective. Come on in. Crow motions for you to enter, and you eagerly do so. As you step inside, he closes the door behind you. Click. Before you have any time for yourself to look around the place, you're quickly ushered towards the guest area. Sorry for my appearance, Detective. I just gotten home from work, so I haven't gotten a change yet. He motions towards his outfit, the standard uniform issued to the crew members at the local train station. I'll brew up some tea for you. Do you have any preferences? No, anything's fine. Thanks, though. All right, I'll be back momentarily. Make yourself comfortable. You take a seat down at the table, eyes trailing after Crow as he leaves the room. This could be a good opportunity to look around. Yeah, it's Snoop. Eager to take advantage of his absence, you quickly leave your seat and head towards the hallway. It's a surprising long hallway. The place definitely looks smaller from the outside. What is this, some sort of eldritch portal to another dimension? The lights are all off, save for a yellow glow coming from the last room in the hall. You nervously turn the doorknob of said room and peek inside. It's a walk-in closet. Rows of clothing are neatly hung on the closet rod. Everything's meticulously arranged by color. Blue, white, black, colors you've never even seen before. You walk deeper into the wardrobe. A little surprised that there's a lion and a witch in there, but anyway, that people actually have rooms of this size dedicated to clothing alone. And that's when you notice it. Inconspicuously placed on a table full of gloves, a blood-stained pair lay out in the open. And we all know that if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. But if the glove do fit, you're in for it. Yeah, you shakily step closer to get a better look, reaching out to pick up the piece of evidence you needed. I came to grab a pair of new gloves, but I didn't expect you to have beat me to it. You nearly jump out of your skin at the sudden noise. Shapelessly, you turn to Faith Crow, who was leaning against the doorway. Upon your repositioning, he notices the specific article of clothing you were trying to grab. Ah, that. I was field dressing a rabbit the other day. Don't worry, I've got a license. It was understandable. Many residents of Border Springs participated in the hunting of wild game during this season. But despite that, you still felt chills going down your spine. After all, who murders a bunny rabbit? Now I am a little uncomfortable with a young lady such as yourself going through my clothes. How about we call it a day here? I do have some matters to attend to. You nod meekly, embarrassed that he caught you at such a bad time, and you're swiftly escorted out of his home. Ending 2. Empty-handed. But I found out the gloves, and now that I know the gloves exist, I know he's the culprit. Let's find out what really happened. Alright, so here we are back to our first choice. Let's go ahead and back out and see if it gets us ending number uno. You bit your lip nervously. This was a bad idea. There's so many things that could go wrong. I mean, for instance, you're literally committing a crime and you have no idea if this is the actual culprit, which means that committing the crime actually has no real purpose to it. You're essentially a criminal if you do this, and there's no way of proving he even is a criminal, which makes you a criminal for no reason. That's not a good idea. Probably know he'd be completely innocent. You'd be accusing him of a crime he didn't even do, and trespassing into his private property. After all, how'd you feel about that if someone came snooping around your business and accused you of murder and stuff? On top of that, you'd definitely get some legal trouble if you were found impersonating an authority figure, kind of like I was saying a second ago. And hanging low, you step back from the door. For a moment, your friend's smiling face just flashes in your head. You take one last look at the house, then you leave. Ending 1. Coward. Well, now we know for sure he's the culprit, because this wouldn't be one of the endings if he wasn't. So let's get into the next ending. Let's go. So we're continuing this time, because it's not what we did last time. What we did last time was coward out, and that failed. Alright, so now we can go ahead and get into the next choice, because last time we snooped around, and there were no other choices after snooping around before we got caught, which means waiting is the only right option. You decide to play it safe and wait for a while reviewing old notes. And wait for a while reviewing. And wait for a while reviewing old notes. That's a while reviewing old notes, not a while. But anyway, you pull out your notebook and pen from your inside pockets. I mean, these things are like extra dimensional portals to another realm. I have so many ink pens in here. All these notebooks, all of these helpful things. Come on, you flip through the pages. There he was. Crow, can't find much on him. He's like some sort of enigma wrapped in a burrito, wrapped in mystery. Crow, you can find much information on him, kind of like I just said, because I read the other thing first. You weren't even able to find his last name. And who doesn't have a last name? Criminals. He was virtually no social media presence. And who doesn't have social media presence? Criminals. Nor any close friends who do. You know who doesn't have any close friends? Criminals. He seems to be the easygoing type. You know who's the easygoing type? Criminals. But he keeps to himself most of the time. You know who keeps themselves mostly? Introverts, and they're not necessarily criminals. Guys, don't just try to paint portraying everybody as some sort of stereotype. You're rubbing your eyes in frustration. You spent the last week tailing him in secret, but that was the extent of what you found. He lived such a painfully normal and boring life that you almost felt bad for the guy. He's so painfully normal, boring. I laugh at his boringness and normalness. It's so painful. But despite all that, your instincts are telling you that he's dangerous, painfully dangerous. And that's why you're here now. Your train of thought is broken as you hear the sound of running water going off in the kitchen. Let's just stay in our seat. Let's play this out and see how far the rabbit hole goes. And then we'll muster up the courage, because I'm a coward, we already established that. To leave your seat, you stay put in your spot, fingers nervously tapping the edge of the table. The whistling of the kettle goes off in the kitchen, and you can hear the clatter of cups and utensils as Crow prepares the tea. After a few more minutes, he returns with a silver tray in his hand. He gently pets a piping hot cup in front of you. He gently sets down a piping hot cup in front of you. Sugar? I'll pass. He sits down across from you. He doesn't touch his tea. So, why'd you come to me? Ask him out. Question him. I won't fall for his wily tricks, his beautiful hair, and his perfectly coiffed smile and hair and stuff. Because you know who has perfectly coiffed hair? Criminals. You try to keep your facade as a detective, asking him questions about his relationships, his personal life, his schedule, and an alibi. Of course, you weren't able to pick up any inconsistencies, because you're not a real detective and it's not really something you're trained to do. And your line of questioning was inefficient and lacked substance, because you're not a detective and you don't know what you're doing. This back and forth goes on for about half an hour before you decide to finally cut your losses and leave. You rise from your seat, tucking away your notebook and your pen back in your interdimensional pocket dimension. Will that be all, Detective Quinn? You sigh and give him a small nod, making your way toward the front door. Crow trails behind you, seeing you out. There's a feeling of defeat, not having gotten anything worthwhile out of this whole encounter, but you thank him for his time anyway. Glad to have been of help, Detective. You give a half-hearted nod as you walk across his front line. If you ever need more assistance with that investigation of yours, do feel free to come by for tea again sometime. Petunia Flores. You know who knows that I'm Petunia Flores? Criminals! You stumble mid-step. You never told him your real name. You turn back to face him, but he's already gone. Number 3, playing detective. Good. We figured out even more. All these interdimensional hoppings between different world lines are giving us more and more information. The gloves, they fit him. The game ends if we don't finish the story. And he knows our name, our real name. So now it's time to get back to the real world line. One where we catch a crook, catch a criminal. All right. We know that the right answer is to continue, because we're never going to give you up. We're never going to let you down. We're never going to run away and desert our friend. We know for certain that we're supposed to wait this time and not snoop around, because the only ending after snooping around is the one where we're caught. We know that checking out the house is probably the right answer, because staying in our seat was the wrong one before. So let's see what happens when we check out the house. Now that it sounded like he was preoccupied with whatever is going on in the kitchen, you decide to take this time to explore the rest of the house. You quietly leave your seat, scurrying over to a dark hallway. The lights are all off, like some sort of criminal's house, so you have quite a bit of trouble navigating from room to room. One by one, down the hall, you peeked in each room, a restroom, a storage room, a bedroom, and finally a closet. You sigh, rubbing tiredly at your eyes. It was difficult to see anything in these conditions. These definitely rigorous conditions of, wandering around and looking indoors. As you're about to leave the closet, you slip briefly on a rug. Shoot! You quickly move to readjust the displaced floor covering, but notice something peculiar as you do. A trapdoor. And you know there's trapdoors. Trapdoor aficionados. And you know who's trapdoor aficionados? Criminals. Hidden underneath. You feel your heartbeat quicken. Cautiously, you lift up the heavy door and peer inside. Complete darkness. You take a step down, creak, and then another, creak again, until you reach the end. By now, your eyes have adjusted to the dim setting. There's a strange smell down here. You cover your mouth to mask the odor, but it permeates through the air regardless, and then you see it. A wall strewn with pictures of them. Your missing friend. Red ink is scribbled all over every photograph, proclamations of love towards them, and threats of violence toward anyone else who dared interfere. You back up a little at the sight. Creak. You freeze like some sort of coward. That wasn't you. It came from behind you. Ah, now you've done it. I was gonna let you go, you know. Detective Quinn. Or should I say, Petunia Flores. I thought humoring you in your little game of detective might satisfy that troublesome sixth sense of yours. But I can't believe you managed to sniff this place out. A shame, really. A shame. Out of all the inconveniences in my way, you were still intolerable. Tolerable. You know who finds things intolerable? Criminals. To some extent. He pulls out a needle. There's a murky substance inside. I do hope you don't take this personally. I was gonna let you go, really. Promise. But the circumstances have changed. And well, I can't have you getting in the way of my love. Ending 5. Missing. Have you seen this girl? And so we've confirmed. We know exactly who the criminal is. We know exactly what he's doing. We know exactly what's going on here. He's a criminal. Or maybe he just has a thing for needles and creepy pictures. I don't know. We have one more option that we can help figure us out what's going on, which is to profess our love. Like a coward. We know that the next answer we need to give is to continue, and then we'll move on. Now we're gonna wait, because even though we're supposed to wait sometimes, and not other times, this time we are supposed to wait, and maybe other times too. I'll remember when I see the options. He's in the kitchen again, so we're not supposed to stay in our seat this time. We know we're supposed to. Sorry, I kind of rushed that sentence. And with this voice, it's kind of mumbly sometimes. So I'll make sure to stay loud and clear, not like some sort of criminal. We're supposed to stay in our seat. And now, it's time for the piece de resistance, what I suppose leads to the 4th ending. The one that we haven't done yet. The final ending. Maybe the one that sews all of this up into a nice little pretty bag with a nice little pretty bow. We're gonna ask him out like a bow. Are you serious? Oh, well now there's 2 options. We'll say no, and then I'm sure it'll go wrong, and we'll have to try again. You try to keep your facade as a detective, okay, yeah. Alright. Mistakes were made. We'll have to try again. Alright, this time we're not gonna back out. Yes, we're gonna ask him out. We're gonna see what happens. Buckets of sweat are dripping down your face. Crew seems a little uncomfortable at your sudden weird behavior. I came today to, ask? Crow raises an eyebrow. Ask you on a date? There's a long silence between the 2 of you. Get out of my house. Yes, sir. Ending 4. Not a dating sim. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There doesn't appear to be an ending here where we find our friend alive and well, or even one where we aren't the victim, other than the ones where we just, like, run away or something. But then I think he's probably going to come after us eventually, because he knows exactly who we are, and I know that he's a criminal. Because of all the aforementioned reasons why we know he's probably a criminal. But anyway, I appreciate this game. It's kind of cool. I wish there was one ending that gave us some amount of closure. But I guess ending 5 at least tells us that it's definitely him, even though we were pretty sure the entire time. Because otherwise, what is the game about anyway? Thank you all so much for being here. Good job on you, game dev. You made something pretty cool, and I appreciated it. Hope you enjoyed my video. Hope you had fun like I did. I enjoyed doing some goofy voices and having a good time. But legitimately, no, this was great. Keep up the good work. Thank you all so much for being here. My one suggestion would be that having some sort of system that made it faster to skip through conversations to get to choices would be kind of cool. Even if it was just some sort of like quick skip function that just jumped to a decision and then you could make it. That way you could get all 5 endings a little more concisely. But I understand that would take some programming, or maybe the settings here and I don't know what the button is for it. Anyway, I guess if that's true, you could probably put some sort of infographic that tells you can do it. That's all I've got to say. Other than that, artwork's great, music's good, enjoyed the sound direction, everything's great. Keep up the freaking good work, guy. Or girl. Or whatever you are. Or whoever you are. Or wherever you are. Even if you're a criminal. Thank you all so much for being here. As always, we'll see you in the next one. For now, this is Nathan Blake signing off for Nathan Blake Games. Reminding you the games are art. Art is important. And so are you. Sayonara, you coward.